Buster Brothers is one of those old school Capcom games I could never warm up to. I liked the characters and the detailed backgrounds, but there was always something about being stuck in closed-off arenas that left me unsatisfied. The new game Crime Girl is basically what you get when you break down those walls and turn that concept into a proper 2D action game. It's a devilishly addictive platformer that borrows heavily from the past, all while somehow managing to stand out with a fresh take on the gameplay and a simple premise that's hard to put down. Crime Girl is here to steal a lot more than a few priceless jewels. This is the story of a wily young woman with one ambitious goal: to own all of the emeralds in the entire world. This may sound like a lofty plan, but Crime Girl thinks that she has what it takes to pull it off. Her idea is to infiltrate the abandoned towers of London in hopes of snatching up all the gems without being caught. It's a solid plan that should have gone off without a hitch, but she failed to anticipate that these towers would be filled with a wide variety of ghouls and ghosts. Crime Girl is a simple action game where the whole goal is to steal emeralds and avoid all things supernatural. The problem is that our hero didn't exactly come prepared to fight a tower full of ghosts. I mean, she figured that this would be a simple in-and-out sort of job, so all she has to protect herself is a grappling hook. And it's not even the Bionic Commando-style grappling hook that can be aimed in a bunch of directions. Oh no, this is the kind of hook that shoots straight up in the air and that's it. You can't shoot it from side to side or in any other direction. So if you want to kill a bad guy, they need to be directly above our young crook. Although limiting, this one twist on the gameplay goes a long way to make Crime Girl feel unique. It forces you to change how you would normally approach each enemy and the paths that you would take through the randomly generated stages. The good news is that our hero can also take out enemies by jumping on their heads, so you're golden just as long as the bad guy is either directly above or below you. If you can't make that work, then you'll need to use a little strategy to find another way around the enemies or avoid them altogether. With great risk comes great reward, so there's a lot of incentive to master the controls and steal even the most out-of-the-way emeralds. Now, you probably noticed that I snuck the phrase randomly generated into the description just now. I know, a lot of people immediately tune out the moment those words come up, but I'm hoping you'll hear me out. Crime Girl tries to split the difference and have it both ways. If you want to go through a tower that never changes and has been expertly crafted by the developers, then you'll be happy to know that there's actually a mode for that. However, I found that the real fun came from not knowing what I would see from one round to the next. One of the reasons this game benefits from procedurally generated stages is that the rounds themselves are all fairly short. It won't take long to fight to the very top of the tower and collect all the emeralds. That's not to say it's easy, but you could easily play through the whole game in one sitting. The fact that the stages are constantly changing from one session to the next ensures that the action remains fresh, and it leads to that feeling where you just want to go one more round. That's the problem I found myself running into. Every time I died, I wanted to jump right back in and collect a few more jewels. The fact that the game keeps track of the emeralds and the missions also help to keep me engaged. That said, Crime Girl does run into the problem where it becomes repetitive over time. Even with the interesting use of the grappling hook, you've seen a lot of this in other games. I kept hoping the developer would add a few extra abilities or cool unlockables, but they don't do a whole lot of that here. This also seems like the kind of game that would work well with a second player, so it's a shame that you can only go through it solo. Beyond that, I was a little disappointed by the boss fights. There are a bunch of them to contend with in the tower, as well as a boss rush mode that you can unlock, but none of them are especially interesting. In fact, most of them are far more frustrating than fun. They're filled with the types of cheap hits that you would often be able to avoid in the regular stages. Worst of all, Crime Girl traps you into the type of arena fight that I was looking to avoid this whole time. It's a shame that the boss fights aren't as creative as the rest of the game. While it's not the most original game you're going to play this year, Crime Girl is too much fun to dismiss out of hand. The game handles well, has a cool throwback look, and uses a grappling hook that is fun to master. What I don't like is that it grows repetitive over time and doesn't offer as much depth as other games in the genre. But even with a few flaws, Crime Girl is one of those games that I had a hard time putting down. This is a strong sophomore effort from HelixFox Games. Hey, thanks for watching our review. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. So here's the question I have for you. What is your favorite crime game? This wasn't a huge thing back in the day, but we've seen a lot of really cool crime games in recent years. I'm actually really curious to see what you guys come up with in the comments below. In other news, I'm currently hard at work on a bunch of reviews and getting everything ready for the debut of the fall season of Electronic Gaming Monthly's Best and Worst. You won't want to miss that, so I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then,